Hey there, it's Teresa. I am coming to you with I talk a lot about when I'm talking to my members or in calls. I tend to ramble. I just get on like a kick of wanting to talk about something and then I just ramble without really having a plan for what I'm going to say. So this is going to be one of those things. So my cousin reached out after I did posted something about smoothies and kale and spinach and smoothies and stuff, and she just brought up something that they are learning as they're healing in their family about is it okay to eat kale and spinach uncooked, that it could be keeping you from like nutrient dense from like absorbing nutrients, that they're not meant to be eaten fresh or raw. And so as of this message, I haven't even responded to her yet because it just got me thinking. And this has been such a long journey for me, for many, many years. And I'm sure if you're listening this long, maybe it's you too. There's food rules is what came up for me, like food rules, and RULES. So anyway, when you start having digestive issues or health issues, and you struggle really with finding answers from like regular doctors, and like stuff's going on, and you kind of end up in this sort of like mystery illness space, which is where I was for years and years. And it came after 4 years of 4 pregnancies, and I got C. diff in the hospital with Eva with the last one, and that just like completely wrecked my intestines completely. And that, along with Dave working crazy hours, and I was like, mother of 4 young kids, being a stay-at-home wife, and running like crazy or whatever. And anyway, I quickly fell into like my thyroid stopped working, my cholesterol was skyrocketing, I had rashes all over, I had a bunch of other issues that I won't go into, but it was really hard. And I was going to doctor after doctor after doctor trying to find answers. And all they did was keep giving me medications. And so my medications list was rising. And so by age 40, I was already on like several medications, and then they were giving me more medications to offset side effects I was having from the medications. And so for me, that was like completely unacceptable, because my whole thing was like, I saw my parents suffer and die early deaths, and suffer for many years from heart disease, cancer, rheumatoid arthritis, and mom ended up with lymphoma at one point, and dementia. And, she was, oh my gosh, early to mid 60s. We were putting her in a nursing home, full care, with women 20 years her older. And that was super painful. And that was when Dad had already passed. He died at age 59. So again, a big long ramble, but I'll get to the point. But that lifestyle really was hard on us as kids. Six of us. I have 5 siblings, and we did our best to take care of mom and dad through all of that. And so we were raising, those of us that were married and having kids, were raising kids at that time. Same time we were helping parents reach the end of their life with long, 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 long years of illness. Anyway, fast forward, when I was 40, had 4 kids, and I was having like completely like plummeting health, and I didn't really know why, and doctors couldn't figure it out. I had to go on my own journey, and that's where I'm at today. Is Ayurveda helped me, was the primary thing that helped me finally figure out what are all the pieces and how do I put them together. Because when you go down that path of so many things going wrong, and doctors are trying to help, but they really can't find the answers for you. They can kind of get just a little bit there, but then you're still having issues. So anyway, that has been my journey. I'm 58 right now as of recording this, so it's been 18 years really of like trying to figure it out and getting to this point where I like feel strong again. Finally starting to feel strong again. I was able to get back into yoga practice after literally not being able to even be strong enough to be in my yoga practice for 18 years. And so anyway, I come to you this is where this is how far I've gone. I had spinach here. I had some steamed cooked edamame and some nuts, and I squeezed it with some lemon. This is what I finished of the edamame, and the spinach is gone, and I ate some of the nuts. So Ayurveda says that one of their rules is, how do you know when you're full? And when you get to your first burp, that means you're full. You're done. And so that happened to me today, and I actually had the restraint to stop. And what happens a lot of times is that the food tastes so good, and it's also if it's not nutrient dense food, your body's gonna be like, okay, I'm not filled up yet. I'm not satisfied yet. I'm not satiated enough yet. And so you keep eating past that first burp or past what your full point, and then you get like super, super full, right? So anyway, this is just one of the little rules of Ayurveda. But back to just food rules and my cousin reaching out to me about the kale and the spinach. It just really got me thinking. And like I said, I haven't even responded to her yet, because I've just been thinking for a few days, like, how do I want to respond to that? What have I learned? And why am I not scared of her query, her question, like, have you heard of this? Anyway, again, back to my ramble and figuring out what I want to say while I'm saying it. But in the past, as I went down that path of learning for myself, what worked and what didn't work, and what was going to heal me and what wasn't going to heal me. Of course, the internet's vast, and you can get answers for a million different things, and that sends you down like a rabbit hole, like a million rabbit holes, right? Like trying to find answers for questions, and then it just keeps giving you more rules, more rules, more rules. Like, well, be careful of this, if you're that, whatever. So long story short, hopefully you're trying to or you can kind of relate to what I'm saying. Basically, I got trapped in all the food rules, and Ayurveda helped me find my own voice, like my own inner wisdom. And for a long time, and so I started healing. There's a lot about like Dinacharya, it's the daily rhythm, daily habits, and it's about 3 meals a day, eating them at the, generally speaking, 3 meals a day, eating them at the right time, leaving enough time for digestion in between. And they kind of teach in the beginning, or the way that I've learned from Kate Stillman and Body Thrive, is that it doesn't even matter what you're eating in the beginning. It just let's get on the right time and the right space in between meals so that there's enough room for digestion. Let's just stop overburdening the digestive system in the beginning. Doesn't matter what you eat. When I found it, I was already eating a plant-based diet that was really, a lot of nutrients in my day. And so that piece I had overcome. I had gotten over that hurdle of learning how to eat vegetables that taste good and learning how to serve my family vegetables that taste good. And so I had that dialed in. And then once Ayurveda came in and I learned how to really honor the frequency, what's the right frequency of eating for me, as a person who's really slender in the beginning, just eating on a regular schedule so that your body can trust that you're going to feed it, 8 a.m., 12 noon, 5 p.m., like that. So my coach advised me, first thing you do, just eat at 12, eat at noon every day. Don't worry about anything else, just eat at noon. And that was one of the first steps, because I was, as a slender person, I'm in a Vata category. So that means I'm kind of all over the place. This you can see in my speaking as well. It's just who I am, and I'm learning to love that about myself. But it also is a very curious nature, and that curious nature leads me into doing 5 or 10 things at a time, running around the house, and you've got 5 projects going all at once. You can't just dial down. So in that process of running all over the place, I would forget to eat. And so when I didn't eat, then I was cramming food down in a rush because I'd get hungry, and then I'd cram food down by 3 o'clock, or or I'd eat late because I kind of forgot or didn't want to take the time to stop and feed myself. And so again, the basic the first rule was just eat at noon. Just eat at noon, because that's when digestion is the highest. When the sun is the highest in the sky, our digestive fire is at its highest. So I just started doing things like that. Anyway, so back to, again, dialing into like all the food rules. They are there, and if you're in a really challenging health place and you're working with a doctor that you trust and they're telling you things that you should or shouldn't do, absolutely follow that. Get to the next healing space, learn about food, learn about what it can do, raw, cooked, meat, no meat. Like, Ayurveda doesn't judge you on any of that, but it is plant. It does ask you to, focus on plants. Make sure you've got a lot of plants in your diet. It also focuses on the 6 tastes: sweet, sour, salty, bitter, pungent, astringent. And when I met Ayurveda, and I already came into Ayurveda with a ton of food rules on my plate and what set me off, what I could eat, what I couldn't eat, I was losing friends because we couldn't socialize because I was so strapped in my and to feed myself, and the reactions that my body would have it would set me back a week, 10 days, 2 weeks, whatever, send me into like terrible, like itching rashes all over my body, tons of eczema, like all that kind of stuff. And so it isolated us. And Dave became very devoted to me as a husband. I could get emotional over that. But he was in it with me, and he stayed with me when we had to be in that space of like, we had to kind of give up some socializing because we couldn't just go to bars. I couldn't drink anymore. We couldn't just go to regular restaurants. There wasn't anything for me to eat. And so we became like a family that eats at home. And you can imagine at the time, our kids were young. They didn't want to be eating edamame and spinach. So we were having to work really hard to like cook for them, cook for Dave to fill him up, cook for me so that I wouldn't have like terrible rashes and like whatever. So it's been a long, long journey. And in that journey, again, I found doctors that were willing to help me, able to help me get like to the next level of education in my body, of education in the food system, what worked for me, what doesn't work for me. And then Ayurveda was just kind of like put the ribbon on it, on the package of like, oh, it's so much more than food rules. It's what time you eat, how you feel when you're eating, stopping before you're too full, blah, blah, blah. Back to those sweet, sour, salty, bitter, pungent, astringent. When I met Ayurveda, my anger came out like, oh my gosh, are you kidding me? Now I have to worry about these 6 tastes and food combinations? Like, there's no way I can learn all of that. And then that set me into imposter syndrome of like, can I be an Ayurvedic wellness guide if I don't have those dialed in yet? And so my answer is I don't have those dialed in yet. Still working on those, still working on understanding how to completely satisfy myself, making sure that all 6 of those tastes are on a plate for me in a way that is gonna do no harm and really feel good in my body. And so I'm working on it. I'm getting there, and I can start to recognize, oh, like today I had the spinach and I was like, that's not quite right. And so I got the lemon out and squeezed the lemon over, and that was just what I needed to like round out the meal and to make me feel satisfied. So back to food rules, what I teach in Subtle Potency is really, it's recovering your innate body wisdom. And it is all about, how do you learn your body? How do you learn through your own restrictions? How do you learn through what works for you, what doesn't work for you? Really doesn't matter what culture says. What do you say? What does your body tell you? And it's a slow process, like figuring that out. It doesn't just come overnight. And so that is why my program is a year long, so that we go through an entire year. We go through these 10 habits that are the basic Body Thrive habits that lead you to Dinacharya, the daily rhythm that starts to find balance in your body. Your mind opens up to what is clear for you, what is your answer. And it's so empowering. It's so empowering. And it brings a sense of ease and calm to yourself, to your body, that is really sort of hard to explain, hard to describe, and but you kind of know it when you get there, and it's really beautiful, and it extends into every part of your life, your relationships, your job, your goals, your eating, your traveling, your friendships, how you socialize, like all things. But it's really cool. Anyway, I'm going to stop there. And to my cousin who sent me the message about the kale and the spinach, this is probably not going to answer what you asked of me, but which is, what do you think about that? What do you think about blocking the nutrient absorption in the body when you eat certain foods? And I don't have a complete answer for you. I don't go down the science rabbit hole. I go down now the what feels right to me after I've spent years and years learning what works for me and what doesn't. So anyway, here I am. I've left some food on my plate, which is a big win for me because normally I will eat until the plate is empty. And I didn't do that today. So I decided it was a good day to come to you and say, I could report a win and just talk a little bit. All right. Love to you all. Reach out if I can help. Bye.